Hey guys, what's going on? This is Badfish and welcome to another episode of Gone Gaming. I know it's been a while and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So this is obviously not City Skylines. This is a different city builder that I've been playing for the past week right now, and I've really been enjoying it. So I thought I'd try making a series for it and see if you guys enjoy it. But this is Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. So if you haven't heard of it, it's in early access right now. It's a city builder that's obviously based off of building your own Soviet Communist Republic. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of cool logistics stuff, a lot of different kinds of supply chains that you can make. Not as much detailing, at least not yet. We're not going to be playing with any mods. We're just going to be playing with the base game. There is a ton of different visual mods and buildings and stuff out for it. But let's just go jump into it. I am not an expert at this game by any means. It's just something I've been having some fun with. Like I said, I've only been playing it for about a week. But we're going to just do a custom difficulty on a random map. And just start with the medium amount of money. Unsatisfied citizens on medium. Energy management. So this means for different things like your cars are going to need gas. Your vehicles are going to need gas. Your buildings are obviously going to need electrical connections and things like that. So we're going to use all of that. We're going to do the day and night cycle. We are going to enable seasons. We might die very quickly because of this, but we'll see how it goes. And we're going to start in 1960, have pollution on. We're going to leave global events off for now, and then complex education. So that means that we'll need things like kindergartens to educate people's children so they can go to work, and then schools and universities and things like that to get us more educated workers. So we're just gonna start a new game here. As far as the random map settings, I usually leave them on base, but I will bump up the tree density just a little bit so we have places to do different kinds of woodworking and things like that for our different industries. And we aren't gonna build anything, we're just gonna start with a blank map. So here we go, and I will see you guys when it loads up. Alright guys, so we're all loaded into our beautiful republic here, our resplendent virgin forests and landscape with nothing on it right now. So the first thing you're going to notice if you ever play this game from other city builders is that the map is absolutely massive. So here is our whole map right now, just to kind of give you a sense of its scale. We're just going to kind of drag from one end to the other. Let's get below the clouds a little bit. So it's huge. We have tons of ways to build, tons of ways to do different things, and basically, I like to think of this more as a state builder than a city builder. You're going to have a bunch of different cities, doing different things. Some are going to be specialized and things like that. But to start us out today, I just want to get our little starter city set up and try to build up a power grid a little bit, because that is an easy way to start making some money in the beginning. So if you don't know, like I said, this is a Soviet Republic builder, a Communist Republic builder, and you have a couple options. So you see these red stars off in the distance. That means that this is the communist bloc that you can export to. So you have different kind of trading posts and border crossings across this border. And if you bring goods to it, that will trade with our Soviet allies. And then over here, if you want, you can trade with NATO as well, so different NATO countries, and that's depicted by these blue and white stars right here. To start the game, we are going to start primarily exporting to the Soviets because rubles can be used to pay for a lot more stuff. So if you look up in this right corner right here, you have both dollars and rubles. They're used to buy different things. Like I said, dollars, especially starting in the 1960 start date, aren't as useful. So we're probably going to be using those mostly to build our initial stuff, and then we'll set up export with NATO later on. But to start out with, let's see where a coal resource is. So we want to find something that's somewhat near the border that would be easy to build to. And we also want to make sure that the connection, so these are all your different connections, these little lines right here. We want a connection that has both power, road, and rail connection, so we can do some exporting. So I did see, it looks like over in this area right here, there is some coal right across the border, and very easy spot to get, actually. That's very flat. And it looks like we do have power and a road connection over here, but no rail. So it looks like there's another connection right here that's not too far away, and that one does have rail. Okay, cool. So what I'm thinking is we are going to build in this area right here. So we do want to have kind of like a coal setup right here. I think to start out with, we can actually build going off of, I'm going to butcher this, Cernakova over here. And then later on, we can connect over to Klibrusk over here and have a rail connection going through. So I think to start with, just because this one's a little bit closer, we're going to start over here in Cernakova. And what we're going to do is just start building with mud roads. We're going to keep everything paused, and we're going to uncheck auto build with Ruples, so that way we can just kind of plan what we're doing and what we're building here. So let's go ahead and stretch this on down a little bit just to kind of get our starter road there. There's this random tiny pond in the way that I don't want to run into, so let's go ahead and curve it off a little bit like that. And then where was that coal deposit exactly? So the coal deposit's all the way over here. So we're going to build up to that. So let's just keep it moving, keep stretching it down just to kind of get a little bit of a ways away from the border crossing over there in that pond. And then we will start kind of our starting city. So again, that coal resource is right here. I should just put down, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put down the coal mine just so I know exactly where it is, so I don't miss it. Okay, so that's right there. Cool. So right across the border, or yeah, literally right across the border. So what I'm thinking is we're going to stretch this out a little bit more and kind of have our starting city right in this area, and then our starting industry obviously over there by where the coal is. And that looks pretty good to me. Stretch it down just a little bit more, and we'll rip a couple roads like that, going that way, and I do want one that's going to lead right over to this guy over here. Just get that nice and straight. Beautiful. Cool. So to start out with, we are going to need to set up our basic needs of our citizens. So they will need food, obviously. They're going to need places to buy, you know, different things like toiletries and clothes and things like that. They will also need recreation in some sense. So we have this football playground and this tennis playground for recreation during the summer, spring, and fall. But then once it becomes winter, they will need a pub to go to. You can also use off of tourism, I believe it's an indoor swimming pool, and that gives them kind of like the fitness, sports recreation all year round because it's indoors. But we're going to start just using kind of the basic stuff and using what most people would start with the playground and stuff. And I know you can use a shopping center to begin with too, because that will allow them to buy both food and clothes. I like just having the little grocery store in my first starting city and just kind of making it as, you know, as simple as possible. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to set up our little kind of city base, our city center right here, pop down our grocery store. I try to make as few intersections as possible, and I try to make the stores and stuff share intersections. And one tip that I haven't seen mentioned a ton on YouTube in the videos I've watched. So this is typically how you can rotate things. If you hold control down, you can actually get it to rotate a little slower and a little lesser so you can get better angles on things. So there's our store and our grocery right there. So that looks great. Then the next thing I'm going to do right in the middle here, right after those guys, we're going to hop over to infrastructure. We're actually going to delete a couple pieces of this road and put in a bus stop. So another really important thing in this game is going to be your transit systems, which is going to be a big challenge for me because my transit systems in City Skylines were always, I guess, subpar. At least to my opinion, they weren't the best. So I'm excited to try to really kind of hammer down transportation systems in this game. But we're going to make a bus stop right in the middle of this kind of area because I hope this is going to kind of be the middle of our little starting city here, and that's going to allow people to get to the buses real easily, which then they will take obviously over to our industrial area over here. So that's great. Got that going on. A couple more things that we're going to need. So going back to the equipment for citizens, since we can't do a road connection right where that bus stop is, this football playground doesn't actually need a road connection. So I'm just going to pop him in right there so that way we can use the footpaths and, you know, still have that space taken up right there. And then the next thing we're going to do is we need to have a fire station I think we'll do the fire station kind of right on here. One thing that is annoying is this little pop-up doesn't allow you to see the road sometimes, so you got to kind of zoom down in and eyeball it. So let's just get that guy to connect. Also, I am a big stickler for right angles and things like that. I try to make my cities very orderly and uniform, which I guess fits very well with the Soviet theme, but it does take me a little while. So if I ever get into a big bout of trying to tweak buildings and things like that, guys, don't worry. I will do a quick cut so you don't have to watch all of that. So moving on, let's go ahead and pop in another road right here. And I'm thinking this is going to be kind of our first residential area. So let's actually give us a little bit more room. And perfect. Cool. I'm trying not to focus too much on the angles. When I play this game by myself, I'll turn on the wireframe and like really try to focus on it. But I think it looks fine just with me eyeballing it right now. So we're just going to let it go. And let's go with our residential buildings. So a lot of people ask which residential buildings are the best to begin with. Honestly, from everything I've looked at, from everything I've played, like people are going to have kind of their favorite buildings. That's just going to happen. But all of them work pretty well. Like there's not any that are totally like more, like if you look, they have different prices on them. So like this one's 13,000, this one's 6,000, this one's 3,000, so on and so forth. So there is the money consideration there. I like this one. It holds 73 workers. It's only like 6,000 and it fits pretty well kind of just in a row like this. I like to kind of put them at an angle like so and just kind of start stretching them down little by little here. So we're not going to put in a ton. One thing I actually like to do, which I forgot to do for those first two, but it's no big deal, is I like to uncheck get citizens. That way I can kind of control the immigration into who's coming in. So that way in the beginning, you're going to want to use more people from like Soviet republics and stuff, just because they have higher education ratings and stuff than the option to immigrants from third world and things like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. So these last two, I'll show you how I fill them up with citizens. So that will give us almost 400 people just to kind of start out with. I think we'll add just a couple more buildings here because we are going to very quickly you need a lot of workers, especially with the coal industry. Like just the coal mine itself, I think takes up 220 workers, which is a little annoying. I guess it's 1960 in a Soviet republic, so maybe they are not using machinery to do mining, so maybe it makes sense. So we're just going to pop all of these guys down. I'm probably not going to build all of these to begin with. I'm probably just going to build those first 4 that I made, but I like having, you know, obviously a backup a little bit. Although this guy does not want to fit unless I go like a mile away. Not crazy about that. Let's see if I can move him. And another thing you have to do when you delete things is you do have to pause and unpause the game, which is a little frustrating, just because if you're not ready to spend money but you have things set up to start spending money, it can cause some hectic stuff. Those look fine-ish for now. They are not as uniform as I want, but I will come back and tweak them off camera. So we have our housing block set up here. We have our entertainment and stuff. A couple more things we're gonna need. We're gonna need education. So like I said, we're gonna need a kindergarten for workers who have young children. If their young children do not have a kindergarten to go, those workers will not work. Essentially just taken completely out of your work system. So we want to make sure we have education set up there. And then I think the school can honestly just go right next to our kindergarten here. And we'll have just a nice little education set up right there. And I did say I wanted to build a pub as well. So let's grab the pub just so people have a place to go and drink and things like that. So alcoholism will go up in your country if you have too much alcohol, available.
But alas, people are going to need a place to get their vodka. So we'll go ahead and throw this down over here. We won't make too many of them, but that should take care of our citizens' needs in the winter at least, so that way they have some sort of recreation then. And should be good. So this is all looking good. That's kind of just a nice little starting city. A few more things we're gonna need. There's a lot of planning in this game. This game is all about the planning. So we're gonna go over to roads, and we will need to add in a road depot here. So this allows for the road vehicles to be bought, I guess. Yeah, just be bought. And we will also need a gas station, so that way they don't run out of gas in the middle of trying to bring my workers places. So that will kind of do it for this little city setup. I'm probably going to come through and fix these residences later, just because they're really bothering me. Like I said, guys, I cannot take it when things don't get symmetrical, so I'll probably spend like 20 minutes just trying to tweak those later, but we'll still keep those 4. I don't mind those 4. And then one thing I might do is just add another road going straight up like this, and then just kind of wrapping it around there. Cool. All right, so that is our little city center there. We will come back to it and buy everything and get it all fixed up and purdy in just a little bit. What I want to do now is just set up our little bit of industry over here. So industry is really fun in this game. They have a lot of different options. So you got like oil and fuel and whatever bitumen is. I think it's something to do with plastics. And then you have all of your aggregate processing. So you have things like gravel, coal, iron, blah, 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 blah. And they get really complex as you go down and find more things to do with it. But I think it's, really awesome that they have so many options, and the supply chains do get pretty complex as things go on. And we're going to start, like I said, with some coal here. So we are going to put down our coal mine. We got our nice coal resource right here. Everything's green and good to go. So we're just going to get this guy set up right there. I hope that works. Actually, that might not work. And then we want to have our coal processing plant. Where do we want to put you, friend? Can't build due to infrastructure, so you gotta come back a little bit. So let's pop you, let's go back just a little bit more. And now I'm gonna have to refix this because I cannot handle that conveyor belt looking like that. So let's go ahead and pop you in right there. So now we have a conveyor belt that connects straight into this, so any coal ore that is mined here will just boop right into this guy, and they will process it. And then as we come down over here, what we're going to need to do to cross this, if anyone knows another way to raise up your conveyor so you can cross roads and things like that, I've been using these conveyor engines just to get things to kind of go a little bit higher and cross over. So we'll do that. And then we will need our power plant, which is under the energy related stuff. So we'll get a nice big power plant here. Beautiful. Find a place to set that up. I usually do it something like, ooh, nope, didn't mean to scroll in there. Something like that. Yeah, that looks nice. So then we'll have the conveyors again going straight into the building, so everything will be working hunky-dory. Let's connect all of you up, and then we will need a bus stop right smack dab in the middle of these guys. Like I said, very important to make sure that your bus infrastructure is good and running in the beginning. Obviously we're going to add like trains, and I know there's planes down the road and things along those lines, so we got our bus stop right there for our workers. And then the last thing I want to add to this little bit of stuff here is we are just going to put in a, where is it? Small storage area, so that way any of the stuff coming out of here that can't go into the power plant has a nice little storage area to go to. And we will just go ahead and pop out a road here. Make that a little bit less of a drastic curve. And beautiful, connect it right down there. Awesome, so we have our nice little setup there. Nice little setup over here. A couple more things just to get the infrastructure set up. So setting up your initial city there's a lot of stuff to it. We are going to need a heating plant, so that will be important for obvious reasons. You're going to want to be able to heat your town, especially if you're thinking this is
up in, you know, Eastern Europe, there's going to be some cold months there, so we need that heating. Then we're going to need a, well, actually, was that close enough to heat those buildings? So it's close enough to heat those buildings. So we are going to need a small heat exchanger as well. So we'll pop that bad boy right on this guy. So that way he can provide heat to all of our buildings right there. And we'll need to connect those with a pipe. So Q and E change your elevation on things. So I think if we just go up once, we should be able to get over this. I lied. I'm sorry. So we are going to need to go up twice. Oh my god. We are going to need to go up twice here. So E, E. Let's see if we can just stretch it right across. Beautiful. Beautiful. And we'll just kind of have it run straight down. And where is that pipe? So the other thing we're going to do is kind of have this curl off our pipe here. Alright. Have that come on down there. Let's make it a little rounder just for funsies. Cool. And then since we put all that down in planning mode, I am just going to set it to auto build so I don't have to come and remind myself to do that later. Awesome. So we got our pipe set up, and then last but not least, of course, is your power setup. So we are going to have a power plant, obviously. That will take a hot minute to get itself up and running. So what we're going to do is we are going to build a couple things down here. First, we're going to have a high voltage switch kind of right off to the side here. I just like to have that so we have multiple ways to connect to high power lines and connect in our coal power plant once that's up and running. Again, it might not, anybody who plays this game and is really efficient in it might not like what I'm doing, but you know, this is the way I play the game. It's not going to be the most efficient, but hopefully we'll have fun and not die. That's my real goal here. So we're going to connect that right over there. And then what we can, ooh, nope, did not mean to do that. That'd be the stupidest power connection. Just one side of the switch to the other. I love it. All right, so we're going to stretch this guy on down this way. Try not to hit that little pond right there. And I'm thinking we'll just have it go cut across right here. And then our power for, we need to switch to medium voltage and put in a substation like so. So I'm thinking, I know I didn't want to have an intersection right there, but you know, sometimes you got to break an egg. And then we will have our power transformer. So this takes it from high voltage to medium voltage and allows you to power those substations. And we'll have that right there connected on through, and then get our big old gigantic power line. So I'm using, I don't know, like, honestly, what the benefits of using the different wires are. I'm sure probably when it comes down to power management later, there's some stuff to do there. I always in the beginning use the giant ones because I want to be able to export as much power as I can or as I need. I don't know if that's necessary. Again, if people are well versed in this game, let me know. Let me know what I should be doing, because I'm sure I'm making plenty of mistakes that have made people cringe. I'm almost positive of that. And then the last thing we're going to need over here, just so we can get our coal and everything up and running and get that moving, we are going to need a substation over here, just so that way everything's powered until our power station obviously turns on. So it looks like right here it will still power everything, even though it's a little bit further away. And actually, one last thing we're going to pop over here is another gas station. So that way, if our buses in transit run out of gas, you know, let's just cap it right now. Let's just put it on the end. I'll probably end up deleting this because I'm definitely going to extend this road. But for now, it looks nice. And I'm all about things looking nice. So we're going to cap it with a gas station there, so that way they can get their gas. And then our last bit of setup here before we actually start letting things build, we will go ahead and add in a connection from here to here, and beautiful. So that is our nice little starting town now. So now we can start getting everything building. So like I said in the beginning, what I like to do is you can fund construction from either rubles or dollars. I typically just use my dollars up in the beginning, because I found I'm not using them for equipment as much because there's so much more variety in the Soviet equipment at this point. From the West, all you can really get is like a harvester, a Volkswagen Beetle, and like a dump truck. And, you know, everything else that you need, like bulldozers and buses and things like that, are all going to come from the Eastern Bloc. Again, the way I'm doing this, you can auto build everything. When I just plan things out, I like to do it nice and slow, have everything on, you know, not auto build, and then just go ahead and click them all through and fund them once I feel good about it. And I'm feeling good about it. I think we got a nice little start here. I'm saying that now, and like I know probably someone already sees a glaring issue with my setup, or like something's going to blow up in my face. But you know, for now, I'm enjoying our nice little republic that we've built here, and I think it's gonna be a fun thing to share with you guys. I hope it is fun for you guys on the channel, and I hope you enjoy, you know, some of this stuff right here. It is a super complex game, so I'm hoping I can pick up some stuff as I'm playing it too, because there's a lot I do not know. Oh, and you know, one thing I did forget to do is go through and add in our footpaths, because those are a big necessity. So we're gonna add in some footpaths here and just kind of stretch them on through. I'm just using gravel ones for aesthetic purposes. If you've watched any of my City Skylines videos, which I will get back to eventually. Honestly, guys, I just kind of got a little burnt out with City Skylines, and that's why you haven't heard from me in a little while. But if you've seen my City Skylines videos, you know I like to try to make things as pretty as I can and as detailed as I can. This game obviously isn't quite as built for detailing at this point, but you can still make some really cool stuff with it. So we're just gonna try to add in as much as we can and keep everything looking as nice as we can. Cool. So everything's pretty much connected. This firehouse is not. I want to have a backdoor connection to the grocery store from the firehouse. I don't know why you need that, but it seems like something we could do. So that looks pretty good. Everything seems to be more or less in walking distance. Let's just add kind of like a back one right here and then kind of connect it on through. I don't know if that will help anybody, but whatever, it works for me. It makes me feel good. We'll auto build all of that. And then another thing I want to do is actually, I use the mud roads in the beginning because they are free. They don't cost any money to build, but we do have plenty of money. So we're gonna go ahead and also just shift. If you hold shift, you can batch upgrade roads. And we're just gonna upgrade all those bad boys to the next level, or not the next level. We're gonna put them all to asphalt roads. And we're just going to make an asphalt road all the way up to our bus station here. So that way our buses that are going to be running through everything, it'll be nice and quick and easy for them. Cool, so let's start building everything over here. We'll just get it all built up. Our money, as far as I know, our money right now will only tick down from the stuff I am building. I don't think we're spending any money, especially because I haven't set the power connection to import. And basically my goal here, I know this is running a little bit long, but my goal here is just to start our first little industry by the end of the episode and get a nice little tidy profit coming through from that. I don't know if all of this will build fully using dollars, but we're gonna try. And everything's stretching out, looking good. You know, we'll fund you with rubles because we've been funding everything else with dollars, and it's going down quick. And then, so we have some people here, and then, like I said, with these last two buildings, what I like to do typically, we're going to do immigrants from the Soviet bloc, and just kind of fill that up. And then this one, we're actually going to use experts. So I like to have a building that is a lot of experts. We don't need it to be fully experts. And then this one, what we're going to do is we're actually going to set them to only work in our education, because we do need educated workers to be teachers and things like that. So that's just an easy way to make sure that they are working right there for you. And then the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and buy ourselves a bus. So like I said, with dollars, this is all you can buy in 1960. There's not a lot going on, just a couple of different trucks and, you know, that harvester I mentioned. For rubles in 1960, you can buy all this good stuff. So starting with our buses here, honestly, we want the one with the highest capacity is usually what I go for. So both of these ones are pretty comparable. This one's cheaper. This one holds 52 passengers, but is cheaper as well. I think we'll go with 2 of these just to start us out with. And like I said, you got to really set up your bus lines and stuff here to make sure that your workers are moving back and forth. So we're just going to double click on one of our buses here. We're going to set a stop right there at the bus stop that we just made. Another one down there. And we are going to do the same thing for this bus. But we are not going to start them right away. We are going to, well, we're going to start one pretty much right away, but I want to just let some of this stuff get built a little bit more. Just so we kind of have everything set up here, because like we don't even have our coal mine. So let's just give that a second. And while we're here, we can set up our power to start importing, because I'm sure people are not liking that they don't have power. So you just click on the connection to the outside world here and just bump it up right to 100, because you will only pay for the power that you need. You won't pay for the amount you're purchasing. So you won't like just purchase 18 megawatts if you only need 4. So I know that's something people can get worried about doing that. And then all of these take time to build. So what's cool about this game is eventually you can get, like, you know, in true communist fashion, completely self-reliant, where you don't need to do exports or imports. You make everything that you need right here in your cool little republic. We are far away from that. I haven't even gotten that far on my own yet. But it is something that you can do. You can set up construction offices and things like that, and you'll actually see like the vehicles come through and build. To start out with, you are going to be just kind of auto building using your money, unless you're very talented at this game, which I'm sure some people are. So we have kind of our basic setup there. So let's go ahead and start getting our buses moving here. So we will get our first one going off. And what I love too is, like, because there's no vehicles to start with, like our citizens don't have cars, as you see, they're all just kind of walking through, waiting at the bus stop and stuff. It's kind of like really nice to know that like every car, every train, everything is, you know, on the road or on the tracks because of an action that you made. I just think it's really rewarding. Like, I bought that bus and I am sending on its line, and you know, I made this train and added the different cars to it. I think it's a cool level of customization there. So our buses will start to pick people up over here. I am going to change this to rubles because I already see our dollars are almost done. So you can also cancel contracts and then finish it on your own, or change it from dollars to rubles by doing that. I don't know if it costs you money. It might. So once this guy gets going, we are going to start up our second bus. I just want to kind of have them staggered more or less so they're not running at exactly the same time. So once that guy starts moving there, it'd probably help if I had the game, you know, in play. Once that guy gets going a little bit, this guy will have to go to the bus or the gas station and then get over there. But I think once he kind of clears this line, if we start this other guy, we'll be good to go. And then our power should be up and running momentarily, guys. So start up that bus, get him moving. He will bring all these workers right down over here. Probably help if I actually built this power connection too, so everything's actually turned on. And while we're waiting for that bus to come over, we will again just connect everything that we can with the footpaths. So footpaths are really important in this game just because they cut down on the transit time for your people. So like I said before, they basically just have to walk everywhere in the beginning until you make cars and other kinds of transit. So I think it's very nice just to make sure you have different footpaths set up so they can quickly get from point A to point B without, you know, a giant headache. So there we go. Got our footpaths all set up. So now everything, what you can do to check that is you can click this this button up here, and you can see all the buildings that can be reached on foot. So everything is reachable, and our coal is starting to get pushed over into here, which will then cause it to get processed over here. And I should probably, I keep making this mistake with this stupid thing, is that I don't put the road in correctly. So I think it's just like I forget it's there. And here's our second bus. Look at that. We're getting people in. They have, how many people are on you, friend? 12 workers. So slowly but surely we're getting everything working to our advantage. I'll finish that footpath later. Do we have people here that can work? Cool. So let's go ahead and connect our nice big power plant into our connections that we have going on. I think this should be able to stretch right over that other one. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. And we'll get it to go right over to our power connection right now. Get all that set up. Auto build it. Classic. We don't have enough. We have $19 to our name. Just like me in real life. So let's get that all built. Auto build it using ruples, hopefully. Please build. Why aren't you building? Auto build using ruples. There we go. So that is all connected now, and as long as we have people there, we can go ahead and switch to export mode, and this should start burning coal momentarily. I hope to God. Please work. We got all that funding coming through. Oh, that would be why. Cancel contract, fund with ruples. Cancel contract, fund with ruples. If I hadn't messed that up, we would be swimming in the dough already. So now this is going to start burning, producing power, and you'll see up here we're going to start getting our first little income there trickling in. So awesome. We are making money. We got our people set up. Let's check out our population. 352, 37 unemployed. So we are going to need to bump up those numbers big time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this first little episode. We got our first bit of, what is it called, of industry setup. We got our first bit of residential setup, and our little republic is making some money. Cool. So next episode, I think we'll start building out some other industries. Maybe we'll start with food or something along those lines and see where other resources are and get moving from there. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely leave a like down below. That helps me out a ton, and I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy city builders and strategy games and things like that, definitely subscribe and let me know what other kinds of things you'd like to see. And if you know Workers and Resources Soviet Republic and you can give me some pointers and give me some help, please do so, because I would be much appreciative. But that's going to do it from me, guys, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.